What's up, everybody? Mike Hart. So today we are going to talk about, we're going to be addressing the claim that MBTI is pseudoscience. So I like to get right into things. I'm getting right into it. The answer to this is somewhat complicated. It's yes and no. So I believe there's certain aspects of it that are somewhat pseudoscientific. But I believe there are more objective scientific aspects of it. The primary issue with guys like Jordan Peterson, who come out and say that very intelligent psychologists with decades of experience teaching psychology, comes out and says MBTI is garbage. You should switch to the Big Five. So a lot of the professionals in this arena, social sciences arena, have this a view, and the reason is the way people utilize the cognitive functions. So the cognitive functions have sort of grabbed hold at some point as this obsession among people, and they cling to it like a religion. And any kind of person that challenges it or tries to say, "Hey, you're not typing people accurately. You're being too theoretical. You're being too speculative." Instantly, that person is anti-MBTI. They're not doing MBTI right. They're not. When really it should be the opposite. You hear a lot of people in the community saying, you shouldn't type by the letter dichotomies because they're inaccurate. You should be typing by the functions, but it's actually the opposite. So to help you understand this a little bit, we need to go over the evolution of the functions. So what were the original functions that Jung wrote about? So a lot of people don't realize this. The original functions just were S, N, T, and F. Those are the original functions Jung wrote about. If you actually read what he wrote, originally it was just sensing, intuition, thinking, and feeling, without any attitude, without any. I don't mean attitude like attitude, but like EI is an attitude. It's not a function. Extrovert, introvert is an attitude. So basically, this is what Jung started with. 10 years later, he thought, hey, it seems like people use each of these functions with an either extroverted or introverted attitude. So like a direction of the function, a target. And it wasn't really a set in stone thing that he was saying. This is a theory that's in its infancy and needs to be explored more before you use it as your basis. So you don't want to use a theory like that as your basis for your entire system. And that's the problem. I'm not knocking the cognitive functions. I talk about them all the time. I think the cognitive functions have truth to them. I think they have great explanatory value, but I think you're being intellectually dishonest and you're not being objective if you honestly try to use that theory to prop up your entire system. And not only that, to make further extrapolations based on those functions. When it's an incomplete theory that's still in its infancy, and in a lot of ways is guesswork into people's heads, I think people are misusing it in this way. So like certain systems, most systems really, on YouTube anyway, the entire system is propped up by the functions. I mean, like every single thing is based on the functions. When you type someone though, I think it's much more accurate to determine the letter dichotomies really than to determine the functions. So, people come up with these crazy cognitive function theories for why someone's an INTJ when they're a quintessential extrovert. There's no way they could be an introvert in any way, but because of all your cognitive function theories, you insist they're an INTJ. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, for example. There's certain cognitive function heavy systems that they type completely by cognitive function theory that have Arnold Schwarzenegger typed as an INTJ. The reason for this is because of NI. Because of misconceptions about NI, people think that anyone who has any kind of long-range vision, especially over a long period of time like he had from the time he was a kid, he dreamed of being a bodybuilder, they must be like NI Dom. And this kind of stuff is what leads to mistypings. You're completely putting aside all the traditional definitions of extroversion, introversion, intuition, sensing, in favor of these these theories that are not really rooted in science. So this is the reason why guys like Jordan Peterson prefer the Big Five. It's trait-based, it's more direct and focused, and you can focus it and actually find objective, measurable traits. Traits are something you can measure. There's some systems that try to say traits are BS and it needs to be all about information elements, things like that. It's fine if that's what you're into. It's interesting. There's definitely truth in those systems, but I don't think it is as objective as a trait-based system. So when you're typing someone, I think you should type by the traits. Plain and simple. There's no other way around it. It's more accurate. It's more objective. So the problem I have with the Big Five is there's sort of an inherent bias in the Big Five that one side of the dichotomy is better than the other. Like extroversion, if someone is high in extroversion, they're just more evolved than someone who's not high in extroversion. I disagree with this. I think traits are a little more inborn. I think it's more nature than nurture in this case. A lot of people disagree with me. Keep studying. Eventually you'll agree with me. Because I'm right on that, in that respect. So, that's pretty much it, guys. People really misuse the cognitive functions. I could give a ton of more examples of people out there that just come up with these wild speculative theories that are not rooted in really anything, you know. And if you want to follow those people, it's interesting to hear their theories and listen to them. Oftentimes, really interesting people are the ones who are the least or the less objective because they get your imagination going. Especially N-types, they love someone who sparks their imagination. But it doesn't necessarily mean they're accurate or objective. And so this is the main problem with the MBTI. It's the way it's used. So I am actually making it one of my personal missions to create a system, a typing system that actually uses the latest research and the most objective metrics to type someone. So there are people like me, I don't know, maybe there's other people too, but from what I've seen, most people are completely cognitive function based when they type. I don't think this is accurate. I still talk about functions, obviously, because they have explanatory power. I don't think they have prescriptive power, though. I think that is intellectually dishonest to be using them in a prescriptive way. But I do think they have descriptive power. I simply think that there's more to the cognitive function theory than we realize, and people are treating it as this set in stone fact, this black and white, you can't question it. When we don't know everything about it. Who knows? Maybe there's more functions. Maybe there's less. Maybe it's more complicated. Maybe it's, you know, it's just, it's still in its infancy and it needs to be treated that way. And you're not helping MBTI, you know, get accepted or respected the way you guys use the cognitive functions like this. Throwing out all these theories like, oh, this is NITI loop because I've seen NITI loop a million times and this person must be an INFJ. Oh, what's your reasoning for that? Oh, no, I just know what an NITI loop looks like. Haven't you ever seen that? Anyway, guys, so just a short presentation. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys.